And thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We are diving into Proverbs chapter 22 today. Before we dive into this, I want you to think about this. What do people think of you when they hear your name? What do people think when you enter a room? What do people think about with you in a particular environment, whether it's a family environment or a work environment, or maybe even a competitive environment? What do people think of you? Listen to Proverbs chapter 22, verse 1. Choose a good reputation over great riches. Being held in high esteem is better than silver or gold. Oftentimes we can put our time and attention and focus on accumulating things and gaining things. And we think that that is, a good representation or a good reputation is like all the things I have. Look at oh man, they're such a hard worker, whatever it may be. Um, and the idea here is that your character trumps material. And anybody can gain material, especially if maybe you are a shrewd person, somebody who doesn't lacks character. You can gain material wealth through cheating, through manipulation. But the Bible is saying here that a good reputation is greater than riches. And so I want to just challenge each and every single one of us. What do people think of us? And then I want us to dive in a little bit deeper and get to the heart of the matter, not just cleaning the outside of the cup, but getting into the motive of our heart. Have we been pretending? Have we been putting on a facade of having a good reputation, but in the inside, we're really just hiding and masking some really evil? Again, when I talked about like a week and a half ago, there's no hiding from God. There's no deceiving from God. And so let's choose to be open and honest with God and really have a good reputation of, hey, that person is humble. That person is chasing after God. That person has a peace and a strength that doesn't make any sense. Having a good reputation is better than great wealth. Verse 2, the rich and poor have this in common. The Lord made them both. And so that whole idea, and Jesus even says it too, that, that we will always have poor among us. And we will, and the Bible talks about generosity, and we should continue to show generosity. God has made all of us, right? And we should not look and have those, what I talked yesterday, have those haughty eyes, a proud heart, and say, look at those people, like they're so poor, they're so lesser than, no, we should not do that. We should look at the resources that God has entrusted us to and say, God, how can I be a good steward of that? And if you're in a season, if you find yourself where you have a little bit less resources than maybe some other people around you, look at that and say, God, how can I honor you with the resources that you have entrusted to me? See, the whole idea is not about how much you have, it's about what you do with it. Verse 3, a prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. The whole idea of having foresight, right? And we've talked about this, having strategy and having a plan, but then also including God in it and not making the decision and saying, God, bless my decision. No, but you having God in and throughout. See, God has given us everything that we have, and we need to exercise those things and be able to put God first in those things. And when it says that, hey, we commit our plans to the Lord and we will be successful, this whole idea of a prudent person, a person who has foresight, a person who has intentionality, they take precautions. But the simpleton just just, throw something at the wind and see what happens. No, let's not do that. Let's be wise again. Verse 4, true humility and fear of the Lord lead to riches, honor, and a long life. Another common theme in the book of Proverbs, humility and fearing the Lord, having an awe and respect of who he is and trusting him that he is the one who provides. He is the one who knows our tomorrow. So that way we can have prudence, we can have foresight because we're putting our trust in the one who knows our future. Verse 5, corrupt people walk a thorny, treacherous road. Whoever values life will avoid it. So again, that goes with having foresight. There are times that we can and know what lies ahead or the tendencies that we may have if we put ourselves in those types of situations or we surround ourselves with those type of people. And that way having foresight is like, I'm going to choose to avoid those circumstances, those people, that environment, because I know it's going to only lead down a path of destruction. And so let's choose to have that. Now, I understand that there are certain circumstances and there are certain things and what people may say or do that is out of our control. And we're not talking about that, but what do we do in that situation? Well, in that situation, if it was someone else's sin, someone else's manipulation that caused us to be in the thorny bushes, you go to God and you seek advice from other people, and you try to avoid that person who put you in that thorny bush in the first place, and you go to the Lord and you allow the Lord to refine you. You allow the Lord to lift you up out of that circumstance because he is for us. He is not against us. The Bible says this, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So let's have a confidence, a godly confidence, even if you're in that situation because someone else, you're not defined by that circumstance that you are in. You can go to the Lord and he can lift you up. Hey, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.